Today, we're ranking PC building experience all the way from newbie level right up until experienced PC builder. There might be some stuff they might not even know here. Let's go ahead and find out how much pain you've endured while building a PC. So this is our tier list. At the bottom tier, we have D or rookie tier, newbie tier, so, just starting out. C, a little bit nervous. B, we have watched a guide, on YouTube, read something on Reddit or a different forum. A, we have the locked in tier, most things. And S tier, I get it lol, that is for the more experienced builders and some random stuff that might pop up. So starting us off, we have PC fans. And in particular, the orientation of if it's pull or push. So, I got this one. It's a little bit confusing, especially when you first get into PCs. Which way is the air supposed to go? For an exhaust fan, you need it pointing outwards, so the air needs to be coming from inside the case and moving out, and the opposite for the front of the case, because you want to be pulling air in. Now, when you're starting out, it is a bit weird to find out which way they can go, and I've seen a lot of people mess this up, especially on their first build. So I think I'm going to put this in the rookie tier. I think it's something, on the first go, you haven't really done too much research, you might get wrong. So I think it sits in D tier for, something a new person might not get right. Next up, we have something a little bit weird, but it's screwing down the CPU cooler too much. I've seen this one before, I've done it myself. Yeah, so if you screw down a CPU cooler too much, like there's too much tension on the CPU cooler, the CPU might not work. Your PC might not boot at all, so you just have to pay attention to making sure that it's tight enough, but not over tight. It just needs to be really firm. So I think I'm going to put this one in the locked in tier. I don't think it should sit in the S tier. I think most experienced builders should know this, but it's something that you get to learn along the way with PC building. Next up, we have the front panel connectors. Yeah, I get this one. It is a little bit difficult, especially when you're starting out or you've built a PC or two, not too many, but not your first one. It's just easy enough to just read the diagram eventually. They're super easy to figure out. I think the most annoying part for most people is figuring out which one is positive and negative. So I get it. But I don't think this one belongs in the rookie tier. I think maybe it's probably I'm a little bit nervous because, the rookies, I get it. They've never built a PC before. C tier, you might be a little bit nervous. Maybe this is your second PC build. So let's go ahead and put that in the C tier. It is something that a lot of people get wrong and they get worried about, especially when they're building brand new, so that, they're pressing the power button and they're like, oh god, why is it not turning on? I feel that's always a bit of an unlucky one, so let's head on to our next one, which is even worse, and I've seen one of my friends do this, so putting the HDMI cable into the motherboard instead of the graphics card. Oh boy, this is a painful one, because I was once diagnosing one of my friend's computers remotely, so I wasn't physically with him, and he didn't have a camera on at the time. We were just chatting on voice, and I said, do you have your HDMI or DisplayPort, it is HDMI, plugged into the motherboard instead of the graphics card? And he assured me without a doubt that he is not that stupid and that he put it in the graphics card. I proceeded to trust what he said for 2 hours, and his PC was turning on with no signal, obviously, because he had no integrated graphics. And when he turned on his camera finally, I said, please, can you show me the back of your PC? And it was plugged in to the motherboard, and my god. That one's kind of burned into my brain because that was a real pain in the butt. So I don't know. I feel like this one's a rookie mistake. I really do. It's just something that you should be aware of. I could put it in maybe a bit nervous, so maybe we'll put it like above the fan one, but I don't know. That one's just a pain in the butt because it needs to go in the graphics card. Come on, guys. You bought the graphics card. It's not supposed to go into the motherboard, but I guess it's definitely something a rookie could make. It's easy mistake. I mean, they have the same ports there. You're like, oh, might be the top one, might be the bottom one. Let's chance it. And then you spend 2 hours diagnosing your friend's PC that he assured you he is not an idiot on. So yeah, whatever, but let's head on. The next one we have is the 8-pin power connector for the CPU. I feel like this is a pretty easy one for a new builder or someone who's nervous to miss. I get it if you do miss it. I've done it myself before. It's pretty easy to do because it is in the corner. But it's very important to always check your cables before you turn on your PC. Please, I mean, even experienced builders will just, you know, just check that everything is plugged in properly. It literally takes like less than 10 seconds. So I feel like this one should sit maybe at the bottom of the C tier. A little bit nervous, I guess. I mean, it is something obviously a rookie would make, but I feel like it's also something someone who's a little bit nervous might make as well. So I feel like it belongs there overall. Next up, we have cable management. This one's an interesting one because I feel that on your first build, you might do cable management if you've watched other people build a PC. But if you haven't and you're just, you know, chucking it together, or you're in a rush, or, you know, you're excited to get it working, you might not do much cable management. I know from my first build, it wasn't cable managed very well way back in the day. But I feel like as time goes on, it's something that you work on and something that's a skill that's built a lot better over time. Although, you know, even sometimes today, I'm probably a little bit guilty of this one myself, but at the back of my PC, don't check that, please. At the front, it's relatively clean, but yeah, please don't check the back. But I think it's something that you build over time. I think maybe it sits in B tier, so our first one in B tier, I watched a guide. I think it's important to do cable management, especially if you are going to diagnose things. It makes it so much easier. Just from personal experience, if you have cluttered cables everywhere and you're trying to figure out which fan is not working, which RGB is not working, yeah, that's not a fun experience. It's always better to just have it neatly stacked as much as you can. Of course, there's some instances where you just have so much in the PC you're not going to be able to do it properly, but I feel like it's something someone who's watched the guide should know by, like, you know, a couple of builds, or maybe even their first build if they're really enthusiastic about building a clean PC. Next up, we have Motherboard I/O Shield. I feel like this one's a pretty easy thing to miss for especially newer builders. I get it if you missed it and you haven't watched a guide before or anything like that. It is important to put it on. I feel like more modern motherboards and like higher end ones, I mean, they usually have them built in now, which is much more handy. And I know I've cut my finger on an I/O shield or two before, so I get why they're a pain. But forgetting it is kind of funny, especially for your first build. You know, you just have a look at your friend's PC, and you're like, oh, bro, where's the I/O shield? And he's like, what I/O shield? I'm like, dude, the one in your motherboard box. And he's like, oh, that thing. It's like, yeah, it's meant to go there, but I get it, it's pretty normal. I mean, it happens sometimes. If I'm building something really quickly just to take away somewhere fast, I might not even put an I/O shield because I'm lazy sometimes. But I feel like this one, I think it belongs maybe in, I want to put it at the top of D tier. I feel like the fan orientation thing should sit also D tier, maybe not bottom of D tier. Move this one up. I feel like the HDMI thing is a little bit lower than that, but I feel like I/O shield, I don't know, these feel pretty equal to each other. But the fan orientation, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit annoying, but I think, yeah, D tier looks okay for now, so let's move on to the next one. We have motherboard standoffs. So I think motherboard standoffs are like very important, especially because a lot of people forget to put them in with different size motherboards. You know, like if you have a M-ATX case and it can fit an ATX motherboard, that few motherboard standoffs might be missing on the case, and you actually need to put them in because if the motherboard touches the case, it can short, or you know, the PC just won't turn on. I've seen this myself. It has happened before, and that is also why when diagnosing a PC, sometimes it's good to take it out of the case just in case it's shorting somewhere. But I think that's something a lot of people miss. I feel like it's not something an experienced person will forget, but it does happen. I feel I'm going to put it at the top of A tier. It's something that you learn over time. I guess I hope if you watch the guide, someone told you that, but I feel like that's probably the top of A tier. It's just something you learn over time. And also a good tip for those ones, make sure if you want as well, get some pliers and put like something soft on the pliers, so when you're gripping down on the motherboard standoff, it can actually go in properly, because the last thing you want is putting in that motherboard standoff with a screwdriver and not screwing it in enough, and then when you're unscrewing it, the motherboard standoff comes with the motherboard. So yeah, that one's not fun at all. That's why pliers are sometimes a good idea for PC building. Next up, we have not using enough thermal paste, and I feel like this one is a bit of a common thing, especially with newer PC builders. They might not put enough, they might just put a piece size drop. I mean, personally, I just use the 5-dot method. I don't know, it's just the one that I use. It's usually up to personal preference. It's better to have a little bit more than a little bit less. I mean, of course, so if you put too much, it's going to spill on to the side of the IHS on the CPU, but that's pretty easy to clean up, honestly, and I think too little is not good. So I feel like this should be in the top of C tier. I think someone who's watched the guide or builds a couple of PCs should know this by now. I really hope they do, at least. But yeah, I think not using enough thermal paste should sit there. Next up, we have Night. This is a very, very like niche thing. I use a thing called Night when I'm building a PC and installing Windows. To install all of the programs, you literally go on night.com and just tick each one that you want. So tick all the programs that you want, download it in one file. It's easy to go, no problem going to 100 different websites. I'm not sponsored by them, I've just used them for a very long time. I feel like this one should be our first S tier. I feel like some people who are more experienced PC builders might not know, but I think a lot of people should know at least. It's just the easier way to do stuff. The next one we have is clicking the RAM halfway in. So I feel like this one is something more a new person to PC building would do, or someone who's a little bit nervous. I think it just goes to the fact that they may not want to damage the motherboard, you know, just not feeling 100% when clicking it in. I know you really do need to click it in to hear the audible noise, but I don't know. I have seen one of my friends do this a couple of years ago, and I get it, especially if you're nervous. I'd probably I want to put it in the top of D tier because I do feel like it's something a newer person would do, but at the same time, a person a little bit more nervous, you know, they might know a little bit more, but let's see. It's pretty fundamental to click in everything properly, but I'm gonna put it at the top of D tier. Oh my god, please. There we go. Top of D tier, just because I feel like it fits maybe bottom of C tier, but we'll just leave it like that. Next up, we have unplugged daisy chain fans, or RGB. So the picture we're looking at is actually my PC right now. So I was fiddling around at the back of my PC, and I'm a little bit too lazy to go and plug those two RGB daisy chains up. So those bottom two fans have been disconnected in terms of RGB right now, and it's just because there's just so many fans to deal with. I'm just a little bit too lazy to go and fix them at the moment. I feel like this is something that should fit into the bottom of S tier or A tier, and the only reason I say that is because someone who has a first build or second build might not be dealing with as many fans, or the fact that they might have the newer fans that just like lock in place. But I don't know, I feel like it might fit in A tier. It's so simple to fix. It literally will take me like 5 minutes. I can't be bothered. My case is massive. It's a 5000D. I don't really have much space to work on this table here, and I've got a lot of stuff plugged in, so I don't know. I wanted to put this in S tier, but I think it probably just sits in A. Probably the top of A tier. It's just one of those things that happen sometimes, that you accidentally unplug, and it's very easy to fix. The next thing we have up is XMP or ReBar as well. So XMP and ReBar in the BIOS. So I think these are very important things to enable, especially XMP. I mean, even ReBar is pretty good as well to have enabled because of performance, especially on more modern day cards. I think that the XMP should sit. I feel like this is something someone who hasn't watched a guide, is a bit nervous, might forget. So I want to put this here. Oh, I don't know. Actually, that doesn't make sense. I think it should. Okay, I think it should sit in B tier. Okay, yeah. No, okay. Someone who's watched a guide should 100% know that XMP and ReBar is on. I mean, ReBar, I think most people should know, but I think that XMP has to, 100% has to be on modern day PCs, because it's a feature that's there for you to use, and ReBar as well. I think that should sit right there in B tier. Last but not least, we have fan curves. So the manual fan curve setup in the BIOS. I feel like someone who's watched the guide might have seen fan curves and just put it on auto, although I think it's better to make your own fan curve. I want to put this at the bottom of A tier, but very tentatively. I think someone who's watched the guide should be doing their own optimized fan curve, just listening to it and understanding the heat that's produced as well as the noise level. I think it should sit in the bottom of A or B tier. So that sums up our tier list. This looks like quite a long video. Hopefully I'll be able to cut it down. What have you guys enjoyed about this tier list? Is there anything you would have added? Is there something that you don't agree with that I put in the tiers? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know as well if you want more series like this as well. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up and share it around to let me know that you enjoyed the video. But other than that, check out wisetech.org for some more awesome content. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!